Welcome back to Cravings Food Adventures. I'm Karen Ahmed. 2020 hasn't been the best of years for many of us, but we're going to let it out with a bang. Today, we're going to be making Rechad Stuffed Fried Mussels. These mussels are sauteed in Rechad Masala with some other ingredients, then stuffed back into the shell and shallow fried in Semolina. It's absolutely delicious. It's great as a New Year's Eve appetizer, but it's also really great at any time. You can also serve it as a side together with just some dal and rice. Before I go any further with this recipe, do make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure to ring that bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Now let's get cooking. I picked up these PEI mussels. These come in a 2-pack and it's roughly about 2.72 kilos, almost 6 pounds. I'm using one of these boxes today and that's half of that. Remember, most of that weight is shell. These mussels are live. They are packed to be consumed within a certain period of time. These mussels are rope grown, which means they are grown especially for sale, and all of the beards have been removed in the processing, but you still need to look out for any that have been missed. Growing them this way ensures a consistent size and a clean product. These are grown between 18 to 24 months and then they're harvested. Before you start to cook mussels, you must employ a very thorough inspection process. It's a myth that mussels that are open are dead and they need to be tossed away. To confirm this myth, give the mussel a tap. If it's alive, it's going to quickly close shut and it's good to cook. If after tapping the mussel it still stays open, it is clearly dead already. This must be added to the toss pile as the bacteria in the dead mussel could make you sick. Even though sorting through these mussels is a tedious job, I really enjoy watching these shellfish creatures climb up. If you find one that still has a beard on it, just tug it to remove it. The beards are filaments that the mussel uses to secure itself to hard surfaces, and these must be removed. If you find mussels that are cracked, throw them away. My toss pile is getting larger, but before you toss the mussels, have another look through again. Some may just be slower to close than others, so look through it first, and if any have closed, add them back to the good pile. If I was to be using these mussels with the shell on in the recipe, I would also be giving them a quick scrub under running water. Now that these have been sorted through, I'm going to dunk them very quickly in hot water so they open. I'm not really looking to cook these, I just want them to open. So the second they open, I'm going to pull them out and keep them aside. Some prefer to skip this step and use a knife instead to pry this shell open, but I prefer this quick and easy method. You will notice that each mussel has a black vein. You can pull this off if you like, but this is not necessary. It's the digestive tract that contains undigested microscopic creatures. Unlike the black vein on a shrimp, these are not waste materials. The mussels are now cool and I'm going to pry the flesh out of each shell. You can either use your fingers to pry them out, or if they are really stuck to the shell, just use another shell to scrape it out. After I removed all of the flesh and discarded the open shells, I'm left with over a pound of flesh. Because I'm going to be stuffing these shells, I'm going to chop these mussels into smaller pieces. In my karai or a frying pan, I'm going to add some oil and I'm going to allow this to heat up. I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of finely diced onion and about 2 tablespoons of sliced green chilies. Allow this to saute. I'm also going to add 3/4 of a cup of finely diced mushrooms. The mushrooms will do two things. They're going to balance out the overly fishy taste of the mussels, especially for any of your guests that don't like the overpowering flavor. And it also bulks up the filling, adding that wonderful mushroom flavor. Allow the mushrooms to cook with the onion and the chili. Once this cooks down, I'm going to add in the mussels. Add 1 teaspoon of salt or to taste and a half teaspoon of ground black pepper. Next, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Rechad Masala. If you're wondering what Rechad Masala is, it's a paste made by grinding dried chilies and spices together with vinegar. I have a recipe for Rechad Masala on my channel. I will leave a link at the end of this video as well as in the description. If you don't have Rechad Masala, you can also use Vindaloo Masala or paste, and if you don't have that either, you can substitute any other thick chili sauce of your liking. I'm just going to allow this to cook off the liquid. I'm now going to add in half a cup of finely chopped coriander and I'm going to mix it in. Allow this mixture to cool completely as we will be adding an egg in as a binding agent and I don't want the egg to scramble. The filling is cool now. I'm going to add in 1 egg and I'm going to mix it in well to incorporate. I've selected some of the better looking shells. I washed them and dried them. Using a teaspoon, I'm going to stuff the shells and I'm going to pack them down. Next, I have half a cup of semolina or Rava here. I'm going to just lightly flavor this with 1 teaspoon of salt and a half teaspoon of pepper, as well as a half teaspoon of red chili powder. Mix this well together. I'm going to spoon the semolina mixture over the mussels, and if they soak up some of that semolina, you can add a bit more on the top. In a frying pan, I'm going to add some oil and I'm going to allow my oil to heat up. I'm going to now take each shell and gently turn it upside down on top of the hot oil. The semolina will form a crispy layer and the egg in the filling will cook and it will hold the filling together. I'm going to flip these over now and I'm just going to allow the underside also to cook for about a minute or so. Once that's done, remove it and drain it on some kitchen towels. I'm going to repeat this process with the rest of the mussels. I like to serve this topped with a simple mixture of onion, tomato, chilies and coriander. You can either eat this by popping it right into your mouth and scraping the filling, or the more elegant way to eat it would be with a cocktail fork or a spoon. Enjoy! Thank you so much for joining me on Cravings for Adventures. I hope you enjoyed this recipe for Rechad Stuffed Fried Mussels. They're simple to make and so delicious. I love to serve it at a celebration, but it's also great with dal and rice, and everyone in my family absolutely adores it. If you love this recipe, guys, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below, as I love to hear from you. Also, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, as well as that you've rung the bell so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And be sure to follow me behind the scenes on all of my social channels. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. And from our family to yours, have a very happy new year. Bye. I like to serve this topped with a simple mixture of onion, tomatoes, chilies, and coriander. You can either... Be quiet, Alexa. Stop!